Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan, because you got to have Captain Logan for the Captain Logan Show. And joining me, I mean, I don't know, maybe one of these days we'll do one of these that's just you.
The Jason Show?
I guess we did that once, but it was an April Fool's where you pretended to be me.
To be me. I mean, you.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing.
Right now, but I'm pretending to be me.
You were also pretending to be me not too long ago in the movie we made, so there's a lot of you. That just makes me feel kind of narcissistic, really. Anyway, it's my son Jason. He's chat moderating the show.
Because you can't have a Captain Logan Show without Jason.
And being the co-host. I mean, you can, but it's probably a little bit more boring if you don't at least... Yeah. Thanks. I mean, there's other people that... co-host this show well. We had DJ for like a million episodes.
Yeah, I mean,
But these days, post DJ, it's hard to have a Captain Logan Show without Jason. It's actually kind of crazy how long you've been the
a full year now.
Other half of the show. Has it been a full year?
It's been a full year now. It started in August of last year.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah, and I'm like the third main co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chat moderator guy
on the Captain Logan Show.
That's right. Out of 350 episodes. So that's not bad. 351 now. So we did our big 350th show last week. Thanks to everybody who popped in and hung out with us during that. That was fun.
Yeah.
We did a list show. We talked about our favorite 20 movies, our updated list, and a bunch of people put in theirs. So thanks everybody for interacting with us with that. That was a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to respond to another geeky article. This time it's not Comic Book Resources. It's usually CBR.
It's either CBR or Screen Rant.
Have we done a Screen Rant one before, though?
We have, yeah.
Okay.
Well they're like the same website, so literally they're the exact same website.
I feel like CBR tends to be slightly more egregious, but maybe not.
They're both bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But both of them tend to feel like, comic book and movie journalism written by people who aren't necessarily the fans they proclaim to be. Particularly on the comic side with CBR, and I guess Screen Rant is maybe this way too. I feel like I've seen more CBR maybe, or we've again at least reacted to more of it. But I feel like more often than not you get articles written by people that feel like they kind of just came into comics, but are pretending like they've read them longer than they have.
Or it's people who are just way too fanboy about it. Like, it's one or the other, you can't
But
be
it's
in the
like
middle.
Generic fanboy.
Yeah.
Where you go, okay, but have you read anything? Like, that's what it feels like sometimes. And I never want to be, like, snooty or, like, a snob about it or anything.
Right.
But you should never profess to know something, be more familiar with something than you actually are. And I've also, I try to be charitable. I also think that it's easy as, especially a newcomer to something or something that, like, you have a big passion about, but you haven't done it for a long time, to think you know more than you know about a thing. And I think everybody falls into that. So the deeper question is not why people that write some of these articles pretend to know more than they do. It's why do they get hired?
Yeah.
It's, are they even qualified?
Right.
That's more of the question, right?
Yeah.
But maybe this one will end up being an article that makes more sense.
Because not all of them
with,
are written by the same person either. So.
That's true too. And with entries that we buy more into. So I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see if this is just the obvious stuff, or if there's any deep pull selections, and you already know. I
skimmed it.
You skimmed it?
This one I only did like the first few that I looked at.
I come into these cold so that I can give you my in the moment reaction. So I've only seen the first thing listed just because it's on the first page, and so there was no missing that.
There's a how many Pikmin does it take to carry a dead body article? Is that Screen Rant?
Look, man, they have to put up at least 6, 7, 8 articles a day. Sometimes it's slow. Like what are you gonna do? But I would imagine somebody woke up in the dead of night, 2 a.m., and went, "Oh, this is a great idea. I better write this down so I can work on this in the morning." Anyway, so the top 25 best comics ever, according to Screen Rant. And I don't think this one is... because there's not much of an explanation at the start of it. It's pretty much just the list. I don't think this is one where they took votes. So this one is more arbitrary, and it's just somebody's personal favorites, or maybe a collective group at that company. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But that's the lead-in topic for tonight. So I'm going to respond to each of those and tell you if I think that those things would wind up on my list, and if I buy that whoever wrote this has actually read those books.
Yeah.
And again, I don't mean disingenuous. It might end up being a great list. Mm-hmm. It could be a great list despite itself.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll find out. But I'm just going with what the track record has tended to be for these things. We'll find out. So this could be a fun exercise in what the hell are you doing, or it could be a fun exercise in, oh my goodness, this is actually a good list.
Yeah.
Here are 25 books everybody should read.
I've tried to mostly pick the bad ones, just because those are more entertaining. I feel
and
like.
You sent me a couple that looked worse than
Horrible.
this. But I thought people might be more interested in this one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And then at some point, maybe I should put together my personal actual list of what my 25
now, is
best
this comic
would be.
Stories, or is this ongoing?
It'd be comic stories. So it looks like, because I know the
comic
first thing
books.
I know the first thing they wrote was Long Halloween. Comic books is I almost said disingenuous again. Is misleading, because you're not talking about single issues, but that means that you're pitting everything up against everything else. So you're saying Watchmen equates to the entire run of Walt Simonson's Thor.
Right. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, it is...
They're different things.
It is difficult to compare these things, but at the same time, comics is a unique medium, unlike television, unlike film, in that there are just so many different lengths of things. Like, obviously, there's different lengths of seasons of television.
Well, but it's like...
And you've got 2-hour movies, and if you're Zack Snyder, 4-hour movies.
It's like comparing movies to TV shows.
Yeah. But it's weird because... up until streaming and I guess like TV movies and things, we still sell comics more or less the same way. So like, yeah, you'll get graphic novels, but those are more few and far between. What you get more often are ongoings or miniseries, and they're sold the same week in singles right next to each other. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I know I've been doing a lot of comics on the channel lately. I really missed it and have dove feet first back into current and into the comics medium in general, and so doing a lot more comics content right now. We'll see if ultimately that ends up holding, but I know there's a lot of folks that missed it, and I know there's other people that just don't actually care about comics and are more interested in the superhero movie content and movie content in general. But obviously, we'll still have that stuff. But we were always a comics channel along with the superhero movie stuff. And even, over the years where we haven't talked about current, I still will occasionally, do a vault. But these days, in the last few weeks anyway, it's been a lot more comics heavy.
Yeah.
And so apologies to anybody that isn't as interested in that. The numbers are not always the best on those videos, but I have enjoyed making them a lot. And so for our like diehard comics reading base, I hope you guys are enjoying that. And this is for you guys. But anyway,
Nicholas Bodo says you coming back to comics was the best thing to ever happen.
Oh, well, thanks, man. That just hits me right here. As always, if you want to get your topic or question talked about, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount, and that guarantees that we'll do that for you. Make sure to look. I gotta do the spiel every time, so I gotta find a way to mix it up. So tonight it's about diction. So you can tag Jason at Jason, and he's just going by Jason now. He's not doing video game secrets because that's long and has
really long.
Nothing to do with what we do here. Well,
yeah. Well, now I mean,
not as much. Sometimes.
Now I just use this YouTube channel for chat moderating for right now.
At the moment,
so it's like
you'll post videos again.
Yeah, when I get back to it.
He's so busy with other stuff.
I just have projects that I think are better.
Jason is. We've talked about this before, but Jason is heavily involved in the They Might Be Giants wiki scene now. He does a monthly fanzine for them that seems to be pretty popular over there and is really well put together. Really well
look
curated.
up This Might Be a Zine. We just posted issue 5.
He's getting interviews with people that have worked with the Giants.
Yeah.
He's doing really great work on that. Jason is something of an archivist or a researcher, and he's doing really good work with that stuff. He and I are hoping to start on a project like that soon for the channel. Have we announced that? Have we told people what that is?
I don't think so.
Should we wait on it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's not going to be like the biggest deal to a lot of people, but it will be a hefty project for Oz.
Right.
I guess I'll just say we're gonna do a big video research project that will be scripted.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to talk too much about it yet because I don't know when we're actually going to start getting to it. So who knows when that comes out? I mean, it might be a year, it might be longer. But anyway, so that stuff Jason's doing. Jason also 15. Sophomore in high school is taking college coursework now.
Yeah, like actually on campus, and so
at a local junior college. Mm-hmm. And so you've got what 10, 12 hours there.
Yeah, I got 10 credit hours.
10 credit hours. Yeah. In addition to all the homeschool work he does here, so Jason is a very busy kid.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking the time out to continue to help us with the channel.
Yeah.
And do this stuff. Okay, anyway, so second half of the show, we'll do general Q&A. You guys can ask us about anything under the sun within reason. If you want to leave a super chat about the comics that will come up, that we'll talk about, we'll read those right away. And if not, don't freak out if you don't get your super chat read right away, because we will save it for the Q&A when it is relevant.
Yes.
Are we ready?
We're
tonight, we're not going to have a Patreon. I will check and see if there's any Patreon questions, but I don't think there are, because I didn't put out the feelers for September until just a little bit earlier today, because I just spaced it. So we'll get to more of those next week, but you can become, we don't have any comments on that yet. So if you want to become a patron to get questions in, patreon.com/geekvolution, just the $2 tier lets you monthly put in a question that we will guarantee that we talk about on the Captain Logan show. And now, again, diction. It's time for the 25 best comics ever ranked. And is anybody shocked to see the 3 books that are in the kind of thumbnail for this article? Well, that would be Sandman.
Okay.
That would be Neil Gaiman's Sandman. I'm pretty sure.
I've never read that.
That looks like it must be Dream. I don't know that exact panel right off or cover, wherever that comes from. And then, of course, you got Watchmen in the middle, which I put in the thumbnail because that's obvious. Nobody's going to be surprised when that shows up.
That's going to be like...
I haven't read this yet. We know that's going to be number 1, I'm sure.
Probably.
One or two.
Maybe it's like number 2 and Dark Knight Returns is number 1.
And I mean, look, I adore Watchmen, so I'm not even gonna give it
Oh,
shade for Watchmen being if it shows up at number 1.
Yeah.
Some people would cry foul just because it's the obvious choice, but it's kind of like picking, Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made.
Right.
Like, at first I roll my eyes a little bit, but like, yeah, Citizen Kane is that good. Like, I get why it shows up on top lists all the time.
Yeah.
You just get tired of hearing about it. I think Watchmen is like that for a lot of people. And then of course Dark Knight Returns is there too. Now I would not. I don't want to say I'd cry foul because I get why people love that book. I do too. I wouldn't put it at the very top of a list. Although I appreciate it even a lot more after doing my review with Austin last year or earlier this year when we did the Rewind commentary on the movie version. And I always say every time I read that book, I can't remember anything after it. I'm having the same thing with it.
Okay.
But we did a giant deep dive, and I still...
Okay, spoilers.
Yeah.
Alfred's still alive.
Yeah, well, okay, I do remember that now.
You
But
kept forgetting that.
I know. Have you read it?
I think I read like half of it.
Did you like what you read of it?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
The art in it is really good.
That hits you at an impressionable teenage age. It really does. Okay, let's go through this article. So, 25 best comic books ever ranked. Again, to your point, comic books is what it says.
Yeah, comic books.
So these are not single issues. This is just series. However they decide to quantify it, all listed together. And honestly, I mean, that is still how I would do it, fair or otherwise.
Yeah.
You know, like your 2-3 issue Elseworld story goes right up against a 10-year run. What are you gonna do? Or it might even just be a section of a run, even.
Yeah.
You know, a
Yeah, I
story
don't
arc
know
or whatever.
what they'll do.
So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know when this was written. It was this is by somebody named Guillermo Curten, Kurten. And it says it was updated 4 days ago, but I don't know when it was actually written.
Yeah.
So is this that recent
I
of an
saw
article?
it on like the trending.
Okay, so this is a recent article.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for finding us one that's this recent. Yeah. So I mean that means this was published after the last episode of the Captain Logan show. Like this is really recent. All right, here we go. So very short blurb to open this. Naming the best comic books of all time is no easy task, with each new decade delivering an instant classic from Marvel, DC Comics, Image, Dark Horse, and many more. Each new decade. The last decade, the last 10 years has been the roughest period for comics ever.
Right.
So can we say that there is an instant classic for every publisher in the last decade between, remember, this was just published a few days ago, between 2015 and 2025, is there one instant classic from every, I don't think Marvel's got one. Not in the last 10 years. Secret Wars I liked a lot, but we're closing in on past a decade.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would say instant classic with that, but I do think that was an excellent event. DC has definitely had a few things. White Knight I would put in there. Mm-hmm. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, a lot of people would say. I think I would tend to agree with that.
Maybe not 25.
20.
Best comic books of all time. But
No,
like an instant classic or
I'm just taking issue with that idea that every publisher has an instant classic in every decade.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, now to be fair, he didn't say in the last decade; he said every decade.
Right, but
so
that's
the previous
still,
decade, so 2010 to 2020, yeah, maybe. But will this decade have one for every?
That has Blackest Night.
Yeah, no,
right?
You're right.
Or is that late 2000s?
Blackest Night would have been 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
It was, or maybe 9 into 10. I think it's just before New 52.
Yeah.
It's a couple years before that. Anyway, whatever. I promise I will actually get into this. Here we go. Oh, that's After Dark.
Oh, man.
Quick plug. We are doing After Dark tonight.
Oh, really?
I didn't do this on purpose, but yes, Brandon's coming over for that. It'll be me and Brandon and Austin, and we'll talk about stuff that we don't usually talk about on the channel. If you want to, we'll have to limit the swearing, but I'm sure people won't mind that too much to have you there. So yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, moving right along. We'll just see if you're up for it.
Yeah.
So, DC and Marvel have unsurprisingly created some of the most famous comics ever. But the likes
Most
of
famous comics ever made.
you ever you ever heard of a little book? It's called Batman: The Long Halloween. But the likes of Dark Horse Image and more have all earned their spots among the greatest comic books of all time. Okay, now, you can't say that and not have a pretty good smattering. Now, I don't mean that every major independent company has to be included here necessarily. It has to have representation, because out of 25, you'd probably be kind of wrong in saying, like, these are the greatest 25, and a good number of them wouldn't be DC and Marvel things. You know what I mean? Although I don't even mind that as a rule, where, like, okay, we're gonna say the best 25, but the top 2 can only be listed, like, say 3 times, and then everything else has to be from other companies. Like, you could come up with a pretty versatile list. You'd have a good diverse list of books if you did that.
I just want to know what the more is.
Then, like, you've got a better chance of something like Ronin showing up for Frank Miller. And, like, Mouse probably shows up on that list at that point, but which I've never read. But yeah,
Like, they keep saying Dark Horse Image and more. Like, they say that twice. I want to know what the more is.
well, the more would be IDW,
Right.
and Dynamite, and
Dynamite's not gonna have-
Dynamite's not going to have anything. No, that's true. That's true. Anyway, all right, so Batman: The Long Halloween. Even a cursory look into the most acclaimed stories starring Batman will reveal the Batman: The Long Halloween from Loeb and Sale ranks among the very best. That is code for if you talk to people that have mention Batman comics but haven't necessarily read a lot, they'll all bring up The Long Halloween. Now, that's not to say The Long Halloween doesn't deserve its place as an important Batman book. I have reviewed it in the past and found that the ending doesn't totally add up, and that story has issues, but it is undeniably influential and important. But is this a list of the best or the most important? And It can be difficult to reconcile those things.
Yeah.
I get that. And I'm not saying The Long Halloween shouldn't be on this list. It does irritate me, though, reading a sentence like that, because I have a hard time not seeing that as code for, if whoever wrote this has read The Long Halloween, I also don't know how many other things this person has read. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm trying not to be mean or disingenuous.
It feels like, I don't know. So far, the way this is written, it feels like you can ask John Flansburgh things, on his, like, Tumblr or whatever. And a lot of the times, people will ask him, do you like this band or this movie? And he's like, everyone likes that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we asked for your opinion.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's keep going. With the story taking place over an entire calendar year to begin with, the case gives a different impression. I'm not going to read all of this, because otherwise we'll be here all day. We all know what The Long Halloween is. Let's see what the next series is. Secret Six. Okay, so people love Secret Six.
Long Halloween?
I don't think this is in any particular order. It's not giving us numbers.
Right.
So yeah, if that is number 25, it's weird that Secret Six beats it out. But to be fair, this is not put in any order. But it's also weird that it doesn't give us any indication as to how this list was put together.
Yeah.
Is it favorites? Is it most important? Is it most influential? Did an AI do it? Because it might have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say, the other day, just for the heck of it, and I don't do this very often, but I got into ChatGPT, and I wanted to see what it would put together for a list of comics to be used in a one-semester course about the most important influential comics. And it's weird that this just came up today, because I did that a couple days ago. And so for a 15-week course, I asked it to specifically pick things that were DC Marvel, but also independent things. I wanted it to not just be superhero, and I wanted it to only pick one work from each author it chose. So you couldn't just load it up with Alan Moore and Frank Miller. And wouldn't you know it, it was a decent list.
That's cool.
I didn't save it. I wish I had.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there, that is getting more and more sophisticated, and actually picked a few things I've never read that I've always meant to, and I think there were even a couple things on that list I'd never heard of before.
Really?
That I went and looked up to see if they actually were as important and influential as the AI was claiming it was, and it turned out it did indeed seem to be things that mattered, that somehow I just had not heard about, because I don't know everything. Anyway. Okay, so, Secret Six is odd in a list of 25. Now, the people that I've talked to that have read this really like it, but even those folks, I don't know that they would put it on the top 25 best books. I don't know that a lot of people that like Secret Six would put anything by Gail Simone in a top 25, not to knock her too hard. But yeah, that's a little bit surprising to me. The sheer number of Suicide Squads or Injustice Leagues proves that any story forcing villains to join forces, that is the worst sentence I've ever read, is a winner with fans. I think an AI did write this, but we're saying that again. But it takes something special to turn that premise into a genuinely fresh, funny, emotional, and above all, thrilling adventure. And with her vision for the Secret Six, writer Gail Simone did just that. I'm still not totally convinced that this person is read this, but because that just seems like a blurb you could easily write by looking up synopses of things. I don't know, but anyway, now this might just be somebody's personal best list, and really thinks that book is that good.
Yeah.
And again, I've heard great things about Secret Six. I'm just kind of surprised that that's there.
Austin says it would make his top 25.
Oh, would it really? Okay. All right. I got no dog in this. I've not read more than a couple issues of that. All right, moving right along. Sin City, another kind of obvious pick. But we've got our first Frank Miller book. Dark Knight Returns is going to be here, which means he's got at least two. And
At least.
And he could have more. Now, somebody spoiled for me in the comments before we started, because again, I didn't read this ahead of time. I'm intentionally trying to react to it. That there's not any Daredevil here at all, so we know there's not going to be Born Again. Yeah. That would have been another Frank Miller thing I would have expected to maybe see here. His work with Batman and Daredevil is typically first to come to mind as writer and artist Frank Miller's best comics. That's not even a sentence. His work with Batman and Daredevil is typically first to come to mind as writer and artist Frank Miller's best comics. But he's also written some classic non-superhero stories. Yeah, well, you have maybe never written anything yourself, because it seems like you had an AI write that. One of the genre's best black and white comics, Dark Horse's Sin City, is an acclaimed neo-noir story set in a bleak, authoritarian, run town in the United States. That is true. So I would say Sin City, for some people, would even come to mind before Daredevil would. That's, of course, a deeply popular thing. And I think Sin City is one of those books that people that have read some comics but not a ton, I like to tout that they've read, because it's not big two and it's not superhero. But anyway, I'm not throwing shade that it's here, although I do wonder which story exactly. Because there are, of course, several Sin City stories, and I think they all have subtitles, right? Somebody tell me, because I haven't read a ton of Sin City. Is the original Sin City story just called Sin City, or do they all have subtitles like A Dame to Kill For? I don't even know that for sure. It does say 91, so it is referencing a specific one. Well, anyway, all right. Then we go to Preacher, which is, of course, Garth Ennis. So one of the comic book industry's big two publishers, DC is primarily known for its superheroes. However, the Vertigo imprint of comics spawned some timeless non-superhero classics. That is true. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Preacher was one such cult hit, with the story centered around a grim, supernatural religious disaster plaguing a small Texas town. And got adapted for television in a series that I don't hear a lot about anymore. I watched the pilot and thought it was okay, but I don't know if that's a thing that people turned on, or I don't even know if it got canceled or if it got a proper finale. Like, I haven't thought about that show in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, well, so far the variety is decent. And I'm not going to say that's off the beaten path. Preacher's, of course, really popular. It's not my thing. It's just a little raunchier and rougher than I generally like to read. I would not be against trying it again at some point. I think I'm less sensitive to stuff than I was when I first tried it. Mm-hmm. But I found that to be kind of hard to get through.
Okay, great. Says the show fell off hard.
Did it? That sucks. So, so that's a fair pick. But like I said, not exactly off the beaten path, but I do like the variety we're seeing so far. All right, next up we have Ducks, 2 Years in the Oil Sands. I've never heard of this. And really recent. Created by the Drawn and Quarterly creator, Kate Beaton. So yeah,
What?
I don't know anything about this. I've never, so I've got no dog in this, but so like top 25 books of all time. I don't know that anything that I've looked at in the last decade would necessarily rank any top 25.
Shattered Grid.
No, I wouldn't put Shattered Grid in the top 25. I mean, it's good for Power Rangers comics, but
Yeah.
I would. I mean, I don't even know if I would put any of Tom Waltz and Ninja Turtles in a top 25. But I need
No
some.
Last Ronin.
I don't know. Probably not. It's derivative enough. Mm-hmm. It would be hard to put Last Ronin in without also including both Old Man Logan and Frank Miller's Ronin. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit of time if I'm going to do this exercise, because there's a few things I would want to go back and revisit and at least skim. But yeah, let's read about this. Those who know Kate Beaton's name are already aware of the unique place claimed by the Canadian cartoonist. It's very important that she's Canadian. First, with Hark a Vagrant, and followed by the outstanding Ducks, following Beaton's own experiences working in the Alberta oil sands. Has anybody in our audience read this? The autobiographical story is a triumph of the medium. Well, it's cool that, again, we're jumping around with different genres, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be real action-driven.
Yeah.
Like, I respect that. I mean, if this book is good, because I've never read it, sharing the author's own struggle with the economic, environmental, and cultural realities of her employment, the trauma and harassment in the male-dominated field, and much more. Ducks was a standout work in the medium of comics the moment it was released to the world. Now, I'll say, that sounds like it could be really thought-provoking, or it sounds like it could be real... kind of preachy and pandery about social stuff. It just depends on how it's handled. So I hope that's not picked just because of what it's about over how it's executed. I worry about that sometimes with recent stuff, especially just the way that's written. But it might be wonderful. Who knows? I would have to look at it.
Nicholas Bodo says, "Can't Canadian? I'm intrigued." Austin says, "Ew, Canada." Hayden Springs says, "I don't like Canada or Ducks, so I can't read it."
Okay, so what that tells me is no one from our audience has read this book.
Nope.
Fables is beloved, and I've never read Fables, but that's of course from 2002. That is, if memory
Another
serves,
Vertigo.
a Vertigo book. Yeah. Oh yes, it says that right there. Created by Bill Willingham, Mark Buckingham. The idea of reimagining beloved and well-known fairy tales has been around almost as long as the actual tales themselves, especially in comics, because that's, of course, what the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen does.
Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Creator Bill Willingham unlocked a once-in-a-generation story, and over 2 decades later, the story of these legends in exile is still unfolding. Yeah, there's still Fables that gets published.
Wow.
The longevity alone speaks to the alchemy achieved by Willingham, Buckingham,
Alchemy
Medina,
achieved.
and more. Yeah, it sounds like they're making magic potions. I don't know. Not just with a $1 million premise of fairy tales characters living secretly alongside us, exiles from their own lands. The individual characters, their bonds, and the twists and turns of their, I wasn't going to read all this, of their larger struggle have created an epic unlike any before or any since. Well, again, the variety is good, and I'm not going to throw any shade at that pick. People love that book. I have not read it, so I can't speak to it. So, Miss Marvel, I'm not surprised that Screen Rant has this on their list.
Yeah.
So look, I'm not going to get into this. I have heard excellent things about the initial run of Miss Marvel. I've not read past a couple of issues. I just never got back to it. I started it at one point. So again, I don't have really a dog in this, but I will say Marvel has just killed themselves trying to make this character seem more popular than she is. We constantly try ongoings. They constantly don't sell. She's not the popular powerhouse that they have tried to tout up. Now, to be fair, part of the reason they might be doing that is because of how critically acclaimed that initial series was. And so it's like this character has been not just really well liked. I don't know how well that book sold. I actually don't know what the numbers were in that book. So it's hard to even say how popular she was then. But, like, not only was it critically acclaimed, but it was the first appearance of that character. And so, yeah, that initially was a big deal, but it's never come to those heights again. People didn't care about her in the MCU. I just want to throw that out there. So, like, this shouldn't just be a popularity contest. And I've not read this, so maybe that initial run is good enough to be in the top 25. I'm skeptical of that.
But also, 25 is not that many.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
there's a lot of comics, and so the cynic in me goes, you're trying to kind of score some points because this character has been touted up as a big deal for social and cultural diversity. And again, two things can be true at the same time. That doesn't mean that this is a character that I think should be ignored just because it's Marvel's made a big deal out of let's have a more like colorful, diverse assortment of characters. But it matters that it's good. And maybe it is really good. But is it top 25 good?
Austin said this made it over Born Again.
Yeah. And so then I can't help, and I'm going to get in trouble with some people for saying this, but I can't help but then wonder what the motivation is behind adding that. I get skeptical of that, where I'm like, okay, is it really about the quality of the story, or did you put it there because you thought you were supposed to?
Yeah. That's the thing with
Sorry if that offends anybody, but I have a hard time not thinking that that's the, and again, maybe it's great, and I've never read it.
But also, like, you're right, not even with just that, but with, like, these lists, there is a bias for just, like, if I don't put this on this list, then people are going to be like,
somebody's going to get, yeah, exactly. Okay, so here's one that Austin won't agree with and we'll get ticked off about. I don't mind it here, and I actually love this book, but here's Kingdom Come, and like Kingdom Come is a largely beloved book, so I'm not surprised it's here. That's Mark Waid. I don't think there's a lot of Mark Waid that I would put here, and I don't like more recent Waid.
Oh, hey, look, it's Space Ghost. I mean...
I have always said that. So, do you know who that is?
No.
That's the original Red Robin.
Oh.
Red Robin first appears in that book, and he's a completely different character.
That makes sense now.
And then that costume was retooled for Tim Drake.
I couldn't see the rest of his costume. So.
Yeah. No, it's a great costume.
Yeah.
It's an inspired costume. Expanding to the greater Justice League, Kingdom Come is a landmark comic in DC. Oh, you know what? We didn't read the blurb from Miss Marvel. Let's see what they said. Did we? We didn't. When the creators of Kamala Khan sat down to fashion a brand new character within the Marvel Universe, nobody could have guessed at what elevated status the new Miss Marvel would eventually be granted. See, I should have read this before I said what I said. I feel more vindicated now.
Yeah.
She was not elevated to those. She was artificially elevated.
Yeah.
To that status. Sorry, She just was, and it just makes it read like you put it there because you thought you were supposed to. But even then, the strengths of the hero were impossible to ignore. I don't know. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it myself. Like, I didn't think it was that hard to ignore.
Strengths of the hero.
I don't know. That reminds me of a quote from. Look, maybe it's great. That reminds me of a quote from the pilot of Star Trek: The Original Series. Do you remember this, Jason, from The Cage? It's just as real as this table, and just as impossible to ignore.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite lines in anything. All right, moving right along. We're going back to Kingdom Come here. Veteran writer Mark Waid and iconic artist Alex Ross put together a mini-series that detailed the fall in prominence of the outdated traditional heroes and the rise of dangerous copycats. The traditional superheroes fall out of touch with changing times and new threats, with Batman's team trying to stop Lex Luthor in the impending conflict. It's a fascinating alternate tale that stands as one of the best DC Elseworlds comics in history. Sorry, Austin, I agree with all of that. So I don't mind that here. V for Vendetta, our first Alan Moore book. We also know Watchmen's going to be here, so those will almost certainly be the two Alan Moore books here. I was
expecting those to be the only Vertigo.
No, there's quite a bit of Vertigo.
And there's
here.
Quite a bit of Vertigo.
Well, and I guess, Swamp Thing could also show up, but given that they made room for Miss Marvel and something about ducks, I kind of doubt it. Alan Moore's most... I'm not throwing shade, I don't know what that is. Oh my god! There's more Frank Miller. Alan Moore's most iconic comic stories may feature DC superheroes, but V for Vendetta was another DC Vertigo comic that went in an excitingly different direction. It's a dark political dystopia story, that is true, where a fictional political party has successfully converted the United Kingdom into a gruesome neo-fascist police state. I started V for Vendetta at one point. I've never finished it. I've read, I don't know, 50, 60 pages probably. But I saw the movie for the first time just a few years ago, and I've never done any content on it.
Was it good?
It's brilliant, and the book, what I read of it, was great, and everybody loves V for Vendetta, so that makes a lot of sense to be here. That was a real groundbreaking, culturally significant, social, political, thought-provoking kind of book. That's all about cultural revolution. The main character is the titular V, sporting the classic Guy Fawkes mask. Everybody knows this. Okay, let's move on. Batman Year One. So 3 out of our 25 are Frank Miller books. There's a part of me that thinks if you're going to pick a Frank Miller Batman thing, you get one out of 25.
Yeah.
Out of the 25 best comics of all time,
Yeah.
you get Dark Knight Returns or you get Year One. And I feel like every comic book person is either a Dark Knight Returns or just comic readers. I feel like every big comic fan is either a Dark Knight Returns or a Year One, unless you're just a gigantic Frank Miller guy and you love everything the man does.
Yeah.
But I do feel like you could almost separate a lot of comic readers into the two categories of Dark Knight Returns person or Batman Year One person. And I'm a Year One person. I know a lot of people that are Dark Knight Returns people. So if you picked one, it would give us more of a sense of your proclivities.
Yeah. But you can't be both.
But I also, again, don't know how exactly this list was curated. So,
Unless The Dark Knight Returns was clickbait.
well, what do you mean Dark Knight Returns was there at the... Oh, no, we haven't seen it yet. It was Long Halloween at the top.
We haven't seen any of the 3 that...
They're almost certainly going to actually
they've got to be there, but
Yeah, no, you're right. And you know what? I keep thinking, because that was in that thumbnail, I keep thinking we've seen it already, but it was Long Halloween. Origin stories can occasionally feel like a dime a dozen and have understandably worn out fans' patience over the years. However, Miller and David, I never know how to pronounce his name, Mazzucchelli's Year One is among the most definitive comic book origins. Yes, I agree. I adore Year One. It's maybe my favorite Frank Miller thing.
Wow.
I say that. Yeah, I think it might be.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. I'll maybe give you this. Green Lantern
Yeah.
Rebirth, Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver. I mean, I love that book. I haven't read it in a while,
Me neither.
and I only read it once. I think for review. I think we reviewed it, and obviously Jeff Johns' entire run is beloved. But it's interesting that there's not a chunk of his run here. It's specifically Rebirth.
Yeah.
Now, so far, have we had any runs here, or has it? It's all been minis or graphic novels so far. So maybe we are playing fair with
Was
that.
Miss Marvel a run, or was that?
Well, that's true. No, that's true. But that's the only one so far. I think everything else has been minis or graphic novels.
Yeah. And then I
well, Secret Six is a short run, but it's a run.
I didn't
so
know.
Never mind. I think Secret Six might have gotten like 20 issues.
I didn't know if Sin City was graphic novels, or if they were
They
ongoings, or if they were miniseries.
Didn't they come out in singles? Didn't they come out in like pristine format? I think it was kind of like Dark Knight Returns,
Okay.
where it was like 3 or 4 oversized. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong about this, because it's just been a while. No, I'm sure those are traded later from singles, but they're like oversized. Anyway, with history settled on Hal Jordan's descent into villainy as one of the most shocking villain twists in modern comics, I mean, that's true, Jeff Johns took it upon himself to restore Hal's glory and change the course of the DC universe in the process. Okay, so now it's starting to feel to me like some of this guy read and knows real well, and some of them he maybe skimmed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think he read this.
Yeah.
Unless an AI wrote this and just wrote it better than some of the other bits.
Oh.
Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is here. Okay.
You called it?
Again, does it belong in the top 25? I think if any Tom King thing is gonna go here, that is a good contender. Although I don't know if I would put it over Vision. Because his vision is quite brilliant. It's hard to discuss Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow without immediately taking note of the breathtaking artwork. That's true. That's a freaking gorgeous book. Delivering jaw-dropping visuals from literally the first cover art and preview pages. So I was not reading current when that came out, of course, and I missed the boat on it. So I don't own a copy. I've read it in digital. And my the comic shop I go to right now has a copy of the first issue, and that was probably a low print one compared to how well it sold and how beloved it is now. So that book's actually kind of hard to get your hands on, and they want $60 for it. And I'm like, do I want to drop $60 for a book that was published 4 years ago? I mean, the question is always, is it going to go up or down in value?
Yeah.
And with that movie coming out, I'm wondering if I shouldn't bite the bullet and do it, because I think it's only going to go up at least for a bit.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get my hands on that.
I didn't realize it was that recent.
Yeah.
I thought it
You should read it. You'd love it.
Like before COVID.
And I think you'll be really excited about the movie because they're adding Lobo to it.
Yeah. I like Lobo.
He's not in the book.
Okay, I will read that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely do that. Mighty Thor. Okay, so this also looks very obligatory to me. Like, don't get me wrong, this run was good, and I don't think it deserved the controversy that it got. We're talking about female Thor, like Jane Foster Thor, but I don't think it deserves to be in the top 25. And again, pardon me for putting it like this, because I know, again, some people will not like me saying it like this. That strikes me as trying to score social points. But also, I'm not going to put it over his original Thor run, the Gore the God Butcher stuff. You're going to put this over Gore the God Butcher? Okay. And even that, I don't know if I would put it on a top 25, but I am crying foul on this. And look, I like what I read of this, but it does not deserve to be on this list.
When does Thor turn into a frog?
That is in Simonson's run. I don't know, 20 issues in, 25 issues in. It's, I think, quite a while after they introduced Beta Ray Bill, which is pretty early in the run. But yes, you should read that stuff. It's wonderful. The fall of the unworthy Thor was one bombshell after another, first finding the Odinson unable to lift Mjolnir, and soon revealing an unknown woman who had been called, spoilers, it's Jane Foster, called to replace him. Eventually, the truth came out, and Jane Foster, claiming Mjolnir as the mighty Thor, sent shockwaves through the comic world. Did you see Love and Thunder?
Nope.
Where they adapted this?
Nope.
It's pretty funny that they feel the need to... I only saw that once, so you guys tell me if I'm remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure they actually call her the Mighty Thor in the movie. Like, it's almost a distinguishing title. It's weird. Is anybody in the comments talking about anything we're talking about?
Yeah.
Has anybody lost interest in this yet?
No.
Nicholas Bodo will need to read the gore stuff someday. You should. It's really quite good. Austin says Hellboy has to be here. I would be kind of surprised if it wasn't. Sebastian Travis, Planetary. I'll be shocked if that's here. Lock and Key, which, again, is just a thing I can't speak to. That's IDW, and the first and likely only IDW thing on this list. Lock and Key is real well liked. I don't know very much about it. I will say I also like the variety of eras that we've got here. I don't know. In a way, there's more modern than I expected, but then I'm remembering, this is Screen Rant.
Yeah.
So I think I should probably count my blessings that we're getting as much actual classic stuff on this list, even as we are. And it made a big deal out of a instant classic in every decade. So I'm hoping he hits most decades, at least post the 60s.
Yeah.
We
haven't gotten a 70s thing.
No, we haven't. Coming from Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez, Lock and Key is a fantastic comic series. Oh, good. That combines elements of magical realism, horror. I would expect it to be in a top 25 list. You're not even writing very long blurbs, and you're wasting words.
It's a fantastic comic series.
I wish it had just stopped there. Lock and Key, a fantastic comic series. Next. The story is immediately gripping, with a wonderful premise and themes exploring the mental weight of grief. It's going to be the name of my next album.
Weight of Grief.
Funny and dark in equal parts, Lock and Key is one series every fan of comics, as an art form, should read. That is... Even with the crap non-sentence we had a few entries back, that is the worst blurb we've read.
Every fan of comics as an art form.
Did a 7th grader write this? All right, whatever.
Man.
Walking Dead, not surprising, but that would be so far the longest thing here. That's an entire run of that's a whole 173 or whatever it is issues.
Yeah.
We all know what Walking Dead is. We all know why that broke new ground and was a shocking envelope pushing thing that nobody had seen before. Really gripping characterizations, and I love what I've read of Walking Dead. I need to get back to it.
You can never get past the prison.
I finally got past the prison, but not by much, and that was like, I don't know, a month ago, and I haven't gotten back to it. So, but look, we're coming into October. It's a real good time to read Walking Dead. I'm going to try to finally blow through it.
Austin says, is your AI smarter than a 7th grader?
All right, moving right along. Crisis. Okay, look. Once again, I want to know if this is a list of important books or brilliant books, because Crisis is a series that I have a lot of respect for and really appreciate a lot of the fun, wild, like, I don't know, pseudoscience or science fantasy ideas in that. It's real overwritten. It's real convoluted. There's way too many characters, way too much stuff going on. It takes about 90 hours to read one issue. And I just wouldn't put it on a top 25 list unless it's a list of important books. Also, what is this redrawn version of that cover? Like, what is that? I know I've been saying this a lot, but that looks like an AI drew it. And if you don't believe me, look real close at the S on her chest. It looks weird.
Yeah, an AI didn't make it.
No,
but
it didn't, but it is odd looking.
Odd looking.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, that's not the original cover. I don't know what that image is. Right? Am I right? Am I losing my mind here? That's not what that cover looked like. The event so large. Okay, you picked it because of size. See, size does matter. The event is so large, it's almost impossible to believe it would be possible. It's almost. Jason, can I ask you a question? Why do we do these shows? Why do we do these? Why do we waste everybody's time and give these this much attention?
Well, because, Dad, it's impossible to believe that it's possible to read these.
It's just as real as this table and just as impossible to ignore. The event's so large, it's almost impossible to believe it would be possible until DC Comics actually pulled it off. The crossover to end all crossovers. Wolfman and Perez reset half a century of comic books history while still managing to honor the foundation that DC's fandom had come to adore.
Wait, that just broke my brain. What does that even mean?
It means everyone's heard of it. It better go on the list.
What does impossible to believe it's possible even mean?
Can we just move on? We're only like halfway through this, and we're like 5 minutes from what's supposed to be the break. So, like, do we blow through this? Okay, All-Star Superman. I'm with him there. That's definitely a top 25 book. I'm not going to read all the rest of the blurbs. We're almost out of time for this hour.
Also, God.
Okay, Immortal Hulk, people love. I like the first arc that I read on that, but I'm sorry, I'm calling recency bias on that. Like, does it really belong in the top 25? Are we really putting that over Peter David's entire run? Like, you don't get Immortal Hulk without that. I mean, like, I'm not a giant Hulk guy. Maybe other Hulk fans would agree with this, that is now the seminal run. Over Peter David's Hulk? Can we give him a man some love here? He just passed away. Now, that's not fair. I'm not saying you should pick that because the man just died. I'm saying
a different kind of bias.
I'm saying that but I am saying that, like, a lot of his stuff is that good, and it's maybe not fair he's not on this list, especially if you're going to put a Hulk thing here. Somebody tell me if I'm out to lunch. Am I out to lunch? Let's keep going. Wonder Woman, Historia, the Amazons. Okay, I've never heard of this, but I don't like anything I've read by Kelly Sue DeConnick, so that also looks like an obligatory recent pick. Mouse is here. I wondered about that. I've never read that. I've always meant to. I should do that at some point. That is a beloved graphic novel that is much more kind of storybooky than it is comic booky. Dark Knight Returns is here. Shocker. So 3 out of our 25 are Frank Miller books. Again, I think you get 1 with Batman. I can live with Sin City and a Batman. Like, yeah, those are that good. What's up?
The next one.
Dark Phoenix Saga is here. Well, at least you get something that's, I mean, it's right at the tail end of the 70s, but you get a 70s thing. There is that question of if X-Men's going to be here, what is the story? Is it Days of Future Past? Is it Dark Phoenix?
And obviously, I haven't read it all.
Yeah.
So I can't say, but
I like Claremont's X-Men being represented in some way. It's just weird that, like, all of Walking Dead gets a list, gets an entry, but you can't just say Chris Claremont's Uncanny X-Men.
Nope.
What? Why not? Walking Dead was 170 something issues.
Because
just Dark Phoenix. Okay. Sandman, we knew that was going to be there, and is deserving of it. I've only read the first couple of arcs, but I loved it. I mean, it's definitely as original and fascinating and character driven as it's always been talked about as being. Saga, I'm not surprised to see here. People love that book. Vaughn is a brilliant writer. I have not read more than the first arc, and I reviewed that with Austin not too long ago. I did really like it. It's not exactly my thing. I haven't been chomping at the bit to go back to it, and I would have liked to have seen why show up here as opposed to Saga, but that's just my personal bias. Then there's Watchmen, which of course we knew would be here, and I mean I would also have Watchmen in my top 25 regardless of its popularity. And that's it. That's all of it. That's all of it. I'm curious to see some of these. Well, I can key that much higher than V for Vendetta is Criminal. Again, I can't decide if this is in an order though, because it's not numbered. But maybe Screen Rant always does this, and everyone is just supposed to know that it's numbered. And if that's the case, yes, the order seems completely arbitrary.
Yeah.
Did we actually read 25? It didn't feel like 25 to me, was it?
Yeah.
If it is in an order, I'm kind of surprised Long Halloween is that low, just because of how obsessed people are.
Yeah,
with
and
that
Rebirth
book.
over year 1, and like.
Yeah.
And then like we had that Wonder Woman book like right at the end.
And then Crisis is in your top 10?
Yeah, there's no way that's in an order.
I'm not convinced that's in an order. Someone named Man, whoever compiled this list has a very limited knowledge of comic book history. What about Silver Surfer, Captain America? Anything drawn by Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko must try harder. And then this guy says, I'm guessing they're in their early 20s and were gifted a few collected volumes by an aunt. That's great. Oh, Jason, you're wrong. This was not written recently. Because these comments are from middle of last year.
Okay.
So not that recently.
It was in the.
I'm still not going to rescind what I said about Peter David because I don't think he should be here because he died.
Yeah.
But that does make it feel weirder to me that he's not here, if that makes any sense.
CG Anime Fan,
Yeah.
were there no Spider-Man comics on the list?
Nope, that is a weird list.
Yeah, and also really weird Marvel picks.
Okay,
Just, like,
great.
in
Their
general.
Marvel picks suck.
Yeah.
Connor, Justice for Klaus, amen.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I was saying that earlier, yeah.
Austin, their Marvel choices were beyond bizarre, but pretty in line with Screen Rant.
Screen Rant, yeah.
And CBR would look like that too, I would imagine. Okay, well, that was interesting. Some of the independent choices I was all right with.
What are the big ones that you felt were missing?
Boy, it's hard to say. I mean, the thing is, once I start throwing stuff out, I go, yeah, I mean, 25 is not a big number.
Yeah.
You know, but... Sorry, I'm thinking for a sec. Because again, it's like, do I try to go to shorter stuff? Or should we get big runs in there? Because a lot of what I found glaring were more recent, especially the Marvel stuff, more recent runs of things that are really influenced by more classic stories that I think came up with some of those ideas first. So it's like, where's Peter David's Hulk over Immortal Hulk? I don't really get that. I put in Walt Simonson's Thor instead of Jason Aaron's Chick Thor book. Like, really?
Uh-huh.
And again, I don't think that stuff's bad. I just, like, Miss Marvel over any Spider-Man. And we had all of Walking Dead, which means you can say Stan Lee's entire Spider-Man run. It means you could say Bendis's entire Ultimate Spider-Man run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of Walking Dead.
All of Walking Dead.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's take a break.
The best comic books.
Yeah. I would argue that if you've never read a comic book and you were to read those 25 books on that recommendation, having never read anything, you would finish that and go, I don't know, I feel like there's some stuff missing from this list.
Oh, yeah, okay, Grace says, what about Old Man Logan?
Yeah.
What about, and Nicholas Bodo says, no, Kraven's Last Hunt.
Kraven's Last Hunt. Marvels by Kurt Busiek is a big one for me. I feel like that should always be on at least the top 50 list. But that will almost certainly be in my top 25.
Yeah, okay, great. Death of Gwen Stacy. Like, at least.
And obviously there's lots of other DC stuff that you might have gone to. Like, I'm not going to begrudge them Woman of Tomorrow too much, but again, that does seem like kind of recency bias.
Yeah. And that's not even the most recent thing on there. Like,
I almost feel like you have to pick a category. You have to go 25 events, 25 4 to 6 issue miniseries, 25 standalone graphic novels, 25 complete runs on a book by a singular author.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is such a bizarre, arbitrary exercise.
Yeah.
And if I had a dime for every time I've said that about one of these lists, this will not be the last of these lists that you see on this program, folks. Strap in. We're going to keep doing them. Everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back in about 4 minutes. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. Jason's got a segment for us. I have no idea what he's going to do. And then we're going to, so make it great. And then we're going to take your questions about whatever you'd like. Leave a super chat if you want to make sure that we talk about your topic. And please throw us some stuff, super chat or otherwise, so we get to interact with you a little bit and have a little bit of variety for our discussion. I'm just going to keep throwing my hands everywhere. We'll see you in just a few minutes, folks. And we're back. It's time for the second half of tonight's edition of the Captain Logan Show. And now I'm going to, even though my name is in the title, I'm going to kick it over to Jason for his Geekvolution The Next Generation segment. And Jason, what do you want to talk to us about today? What are you going to regale us with?
So, every once in a while, I will do a music segment. And so I'm back with the music segment. And
nobody leave. These are really good.
This is 4 more albums that I recommend to you because I did this like last month, 2 months ago, and I have more.
Should we see if Screen Rant has a top 25 best albums of all time?
I could probably tell you like 10 of them.
You think any of them came out in 2023?
Mom and I looked at like the top like 400 best albums of all time, and Mom had Mom had the list up, and I was just naming albums that would probably be on the list, and I was getting every single one right.
Sebastian Travis, top 25 is way too slim for all-time great comics, to be honest. Yeah, it is. And even still, if you're going to try that, you got to curate it better than that. The list is definitely more of something they just woke up one day and thought, off the top of my head, what are the best comics? Then got to typing. Yeah.
You know, it's impossible to believe that it's possible.
It's impossible to believe it's possible that AI did not help write that article. All right, go ahead, Jason.
So, 4 albums I recommend, and these are all 4 albums that I listened to for the first time last month.
Oh, wow. Are they from different eras?
Not really.
Or are they pretty recent things? Or?
No. 2 of them are from the 90s, one of them is from 2000, and one of them is from the 60s.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Austin, you're right. There was no Hellboy, ultimately.
Yeah. All right. So, number 1, and I actually started playing you this album recently, and that is Our Lady Peace Clumsy. They have a song about Superman. It's really
true.
Good. And that's what got me into it.
In an era where every rock band had a song about Superman.
Yeah. So this is 97. It's very interesting. There's a lot of... I'd say it's a really good kind of 90s alternative album. I kind of explained it to Dad as like Space Hog meets Smashing Pumpkins, and I think he agrees with me. I think it's pretty good. I don't think anything else on the album kind of lives up to Superman's Dead, but I do think that there are a couple tracks on the album that are as catchy as Superman's Dead. So yeah, if you like 90s alternative, definitely give that a listen.
I really like what I've heard of that so far.
Yeah.
You were playing me that the other day. And I knew that band some, and I'm a big fan of that first track. But I never listened to the rest of that record.
Yeah.
Because that was the big single.
Yeah, and it has a track where he like terribly sings the guitar riff, and you're like, well, what's happening? And then the guitar comes in with the guitar riff, and it's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Here's an album that both of us discovered at the same time, and that is The Discovery of a World Inside the Moon.
The Apples in Stereo.
Yeah, which is an Elephant Six band that is very going back to the 60s.
Yeah, explain to everybody what that means, what Elephant Six is.
Elephant Six is a crazy, like, big group of bands that, like, all came together in the 90s, and they basically just said, all right, we're just going to make a bunch of, we're just going to put these all into a group, and we're going to make a bunch of albums. And they all have very distinct sounds, but they're all, like, kind of looking back at, like, 60s and 70s psychedelic stuff. And so there was actually another album that I almost put on this list that is another Elephant Six band. But that's a kind of a thing that I've been getting into a bit recently. But I didn't even realize that Apples in Stereo was Elephant Six until until after we listened to this album.
We only knew about them because of the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
They
and
had
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, that too. But they had a song in a Powerpuff Girls like music video when that show was big that I always really liked. Signal in the Sky, and then I just got curious as to because I never looked them up. I was like, I wonder what their albums are like.
Yeah, so we listened to this and it's actually really good. It's very happy. Yeah, if you like kind of that like mid 60s kind of vibe mixed with like 90s punk.
Yeah.
I think you'd really like it.
Neat juxtaposition. I've listened to that 3 or 4 times now. I really liked it.
Here comes another 90s alternative album, but not the same kind of thing as Our Lady Peace, although I did mention this band earlier. This is Smashing Pumpkins, and an album I keep going back to because I kind of adore this album. This is Adore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an album that no one really liked when it came out.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is Smashing Pumpkins after their drummer left, and they basically went, oh well, drum machine.
Oh, they didn't even replace the drummer?
No, they just went drum machine.
I didn't know that.
It's kind of great. Like, I love it. I keep going back to it.
Well, I love Smashing Pumpkins. I don't know if I've ever listened to that record cover to cover.
Yeah, it's, the big song from that is Ava Dore.
Yeah.
And yeah, it opens with a big ballad. Like, it opens with a ballad that's like 4 minutes long, and then it goes into Ava Adore. It's kind of
What year is that?
98.
Okay, so have they gotten to any of their electronica phase yet, or is that going to be later?
That starts in this album.
So I's not on that record though, is it? Or is that later?
No, I think that's later.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where that is. That's my favorite Smashing Pumpkins song.
Is it
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it lands. Because I've just listened to Rotten Apples on repeat so much that that's where I know it from. Is that greatest hits double set?
Yeah,
but...
I don't think it's on Melancholy. It's not. Okay.
Where is it?
I don't know.
But it's not. It's not on the record you're talking about.
No,
either.
it's not. It might be on the 2001, which I have yet to get to. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably a little bit later. Sorry, I'm derailing you.
So yeah,
but you're actually talking about stuff I know something about.
If you like electronic 90s like weird alt stuff, like that's
you said that was 98?
98, yeah.
Okay, so that's just the year after they have End is the Beginning is the End on the Batman and Robin record.
Yeah. So which is also with the drum machine. So that's why and actually the deluxe edition of this record has that song on it.
Oh, does it?
That's
the faster version or the slower version?
The faster version.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the fourth album is from the 60s. And
one of these things is not like the others.
Yeah. This is an album that I have not played you yet.
Okay.
But you need to listen to it because it's amazing. This is 1961 Blues and the Abstract Truth from Oliver Nelson. This is his big record.
I love what I've heard of Oliver Nelson.
It's not like obviously it's earlier, so it's much more like jazz.
So Oliver Nelson, guys, is a jazz musician, entirely instrumental.
Yes, it's entirely instrumental.
Now, what would be the subgenre? Because we wouldn't call that fusion, really, right?
Not until the 70s.
Yeah.
He does a little bit of fusion.
I feel like there's gotta be a subgenre.
Yeah, I mean, there's a subgenre for everything. It's...
Because, I mean, it's not big band, it's not like...
No.
I don't know what you'd call it.
I was just in jazz history, and we were talking about this, but whatever.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about what all the main things in each different era were. But I can't remember the name of it.
Although I will say he has some tracks that sound more big band than others.
Yes, he does. But yeah, Blues and the Abstract Truth, it has, I believe only a few songs, only like 5 or 6 songs.
But they're long.
They're very long.
Yeah.
The first track has a really cool thing, where the whole thing is a lot of, progressively getting louder. And I don't know how they have any breath control with that. but it's great.
Interesting.
And then I think it's the second track has this amazing like back and forth between saxophones that through like the entire track that is awesome, or at least the beginning and the end, and then there's and then there's a bunch of solos because it's jazz. But yeah, if you like jazz, then you should check that out.
Yeah, that's exciting. Now the question is,
Yes.
is it better than Skull Session?
It's a completely different thing.
It's just so different.
Yeah.
Because Skull Session's
No.
a little experimental.
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't have any.
That
So-
that opening track's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
And that I would call fusion. So.
Yeah, that's the best thing I can come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole record doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
Because then the very next song sounds much more traditional big band on that record. Anyway,
Yeah, I've been listening through a bunch of different bands recently, and so I'm on Smashing Pumpkins right now. That's why Adore was on there.
you're going through whole catalogs.
Yeah, so I did listen to Melancholy and Siamese Dream and Gish, but and I loved all of those. I don't know why. I just really liked Adore. I don't know. But yeah.
I feel like everybody's got different opinions on that band,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, which era is the best, and whether they're worth listening to after they come back together, and
Yeah.
because I love that. What is it? That 2014 record.
Yeah, Monuments.
Thank you, Monuments. And people hate that album.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's awesome. I bought it on vinyl. I've listened to it constantly. The only thing I hear from people is it's too short. And I'm like, but that doesn't make the songs bad. Like, yeah, I wish it was longer, but I really like the sound of that record.
But also-
Do you also not like that record?
Oh, I do like that record.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. Okay, so
I just keep assuming I'm
going
the
through-
only person on the
I'm
planet.
going through Smashing Pumpkins. I'm gonna stop at 2000 because
Oh, you're not even going to listen to the newer stuff?
I'm not gonna listen to the stuff when two of them come back and then later like other people come back. I don't need to
Okay.
listen to that stuff. He gets a little. I don't know.
Oh, I definitely think he gets kind of pretentious.
He gets
yeah.
really pretentious.
But Monuments didn't feel that way to me.
Also,
I think the problem is Smashing Pumpkins go, yeah, but it's just like, what is that singer's name?
I don't know why it's not
it.
coming to
It's
me.
just not coming to me right now. But it's like it's that guy's show,
right.
and he just kind of does. It's just kind of him, and he does everything. And I get that. Like, I'm a real casual fan of that
Billy
group,
Corgan.
and so that Billy Corgan, thank you. But so that didn't hit me as hard as it did like diehard fans that were listening to their discography back in the day as it was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just heard the
Also-
hits on the radio. When I was younger, that wasn't a band I sought out until later.
Also, I'm pretty sure Monuments is like the part one of like two albums.
Oh, is
Pretty
it
sure
really?
there is like an album that is considered like a part two to Monuments, but I haven't. I haven't
Well, maybe
heard
it sounds better, more fleshed out, but I really like it by itself, as short as it is. It's only like 35, 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a 35-minute. Which 35-minute albums aren't bad. I mean,
It is if you're a giant fan of a band that puts out something like Melancholy and that's your favorite record, because that thing is long.
right,
So, like, I guess I get that.
right.
I don't know.
But like they mostly put out hour-long, like Adore is an hour long.
Okay, but that makes this half that. I'm just saying I can kind of sympathize with people that feel like it's too short.
Right, but it's like they've been putting out long ones. There's a short one. I don't know. Like King
I don't
Gizzard
know.
did the same
I
thing.
listened to a
don't
short record, then I just listened to another record. I don't know. I guess the only problem with it is if you listen to it on vinyl, because then you're flipping it earlier.
know. Right.
But I don't know. Anyway, well, Jason, thank you for those album recommendations.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check out the ones I haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 groups and artists that I also like a lot.
Yeah.
What was your first one?
Our Lady Peace.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, all 4 of those are groups that or artists that I'm familiar with to some degree.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll do a segment like this and I won't have any idea what you're talking about. So I was kind of excited to actually know some of this.
Yeah.
But thanks for all of the music information you've been bringing to the show lately.
Yeah, because I know you don't really do that on this channel, and
No, not typically.
that's my big thing. So
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Gives us the word of the day tonight, kids, is versatility. And now,
I thought it was possible.
or variety is possible. Now it's time for Q&A. We don't have any questions yet. If there's something you really want us to talk about, leave it in the comments and tag Jason, or leave us a super chat if you want to support the channel. That is one of the main ways that we keep things a-trucking here on the channel. No pressure. We appreciate you just being here, hanging out with us. But do think about interacting with us in some capacity, and we will answer any questions that come up. And then if there's not a whole lot of interest, we'll just go right to our final segment tonight. Jason and I are going to ask each other a question again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That didn't start well. But then I was married to it, so I had to keep going. Well, Jason, tell us about college.
College?
You're 15, you're going to college.
Yeah.
What has that been like?
So I'm taking a jazz history class, I'm taking an acting class, and I'm taking biology. And it's actually, I was expecting the homework to be horrible. It's actually not that bad.
So far. I mean, it could get a little rougher, I guess. But
yeah, that's true. But I'm only getting...
You're only at the start of the semester.
Right. But I'm only getting, like, an assignment a day. It's like, that's not bad.
That's good. Especially with everything else you've got to do here.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason's homeschooled all the way from the start. When he was younger, he supplemented homeschool with a private school that he went to twice a week for some of the stuff that's harder to do at home, like PE and music and that kind of thing, foreign languages. And he's not done that for a while. The school that he was going to shut down the homeschool program after COVID, and we decided to just do everything here, and we haven't sent the kids to a different place. And but we wanted him to take classes at JUCO so that he could get like science labs and that kind of thing, just stuff that, again, that's hard to do here, and also to give him more of a sense of independence and get out of the house and out in the world and start practicing adulthood. So it seems to be going pretty well so far.
Yeah. Nicholas Bodo.
Yeah.
Have you guys read the CBR article ranking every live-action Lex Luthor by how comic accurate they are?
No, put that on the list.
All right.
As another article. Is it dumb?
I don't know.
Is it bad?
Dan's Den. Out of the lists you did for this show, which one was the hardest? And I actually want to expand this to, like, has there been a really hard, like, list that you've done?
What does he mean?
Like, top 10, top...
For the show or just the channel?
The channel. I want to expand it to the channel.
The channel in general?
Yeah.
Lists that have been hard to put together?
Mm-hmm.
God, it's hard to go back and remember even everything we've done.
Right.
Over 16 years, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The top 100 superhero movies list felt really arbitrary to me. I had a real tough time ranking stuff, just deciding exactly where to put everything. That was hard. But I haven't put together my bottom 50 yet. That's the next thing we're doing. Well, actually, the next thing we're doing is a re-ranking of MCU movies. And I don't know what that's going to be like. Ranking the DCEU, which we did recently, was a little bit difficult, just because, again, kind of arbitrary. So many of those movies are bad. But like the absolute hardest, I know I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I'm kind of just going to recent memory right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like what's like the hardest segment. That I've done
top 20 movies of all time we just did last week. That was hard the first time, and it wasn't as hard last week, just because I kind of went a little freer with it and said, yeah, if there's more science fiction movies than anything else, that's okay. What I did with it before is I tried to limit genres. That made it a little bit tougher. I kind of just went more with like my actual real, what movies do I feel like putting on right now?
I remember top 12 worst movies of all time being kind of hard.
I forgot you did that.
Mainly because I was having a hard time not just putting 12 superhero movies. because I wasn't gonna make like I wasn't gonna make like the channel look bad by only putting superhero movies, and like that's our whole thing. So
Sebastian Travis, the flex is real here. Personally, self-taught is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to learn or pick up a skill in something. I absolutely agree. And a lot of what Jason's done is kind of not entirely self-taught. Like, obviously, we help out, but it's real self-directed. He's talking about he says a Danish babe who did a maiden trip. I'm just reading the comment. Sailing around the world by herself. Oh, that's cool. At age 13 or something. Lauren Decker was her name. I've never heard about that. That's really interesting.
Why does it sound like he's like quoting something? I don't know.
It does. It does kind of sound like he's quoting something.
Yeah.
Nicholas Bodo, I was self-taught for some stuff I read.
What?
That's good. Right, I mean, really, just pick up books is what we're saying.
Yeah.
I think sometimes a little formal education is important. It's good to reinforce what you've learned. It's good to use testing and essay writing to develop other skills than just do you remember the stuff that you read. But that's also important. So, like, I don't know. I'm of two minds about it, because if you read, say, 200 books in a year, Jason, like if all you did was read books, you read like 2 books a week. Mm-hmm. You read like whatever they are, and I'm talking about like substantial enough books, fiction and nonfiction alike. Everything's at least 300-400 pages, right? Let's say you read 2 books a week in any subject that you felt like reading about, and you never had to write a paper about it, take a test about it, do an oral presentation, talk to anybody about it, but you read 200 books in let's say lots of different subjects, yeah, you'd learn a lot. Mm-hmm. But there would be some skills that you wouldn't be developing or refining if that's all you ever did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, I think we get too stuck in the rules of formal education where it's like you've got to do the 5-paragraph essay and you've got to have quizzes and tests like every so often for whatever it is you're doing. Like, I think we do get mired in formula, and that can kind of be a problem. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm somewhere in between the unschooling idea and the classical education idea.
Yeah.
Like, I want a bit of both of those things, and that's more or less what we do here.
Oh, you were talking about books. I'm reading a book right now.
Yeah, tell us about it.
That I also suggest you guys should read. It is the biography for Billie Holiday. It's called The Musician and the Myth. It's really good.
And this isn't even for your jazz class? This is just...
I started reading it even before I knew I was going to be taking a jazz class. It's really good. It starts by literally telling you she wrote an autobiography, and everyone didn't like it. And this is all the stuff that she left out of it.
Oh, interesting.
And then it, like, actually goes into stuff. And it's great.
I want to remind everybody that a little bit later, around 9:30 or so, or maybe a little bit after that, because that's about when Brandon will be arriving. So it'll probably be closer to 9:40, 9:45. We're going to do a Geeklution After Dark for the patrons, and you just have to be at the $2 tier to join in on that discussion. Jason may pop in with us as well.
I may, for a little bit at least.
And I don't know what we're talking about tonight, but we always make it kind of secret topics, so each of us will bring something interesting to talk about, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, and we haven't done one in quite a while, so I hope you will join us. Jason, I don't really see any other questions right now. There's not a whole lot of discussion that's happening. So why don't we just go ahead and go right to our last topic, and then if anybody wants to bring up anything else, or last segment, I should say, feel free. You can read those other Sebastian Travis comments real quick if you want to.
Oh yeah,
he keeps typing stuff.
Yeah, one of these is gonna take a while. I feel like, because this is a question.
Oh, was it a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead and ask it.
Okay. He says, "All right, here we go."
That's real far away.
Captain Logan, Maybe you can do a quick discussion on comics that utilize the medium to their potential and make it difficult to transfer in other mediums. And he says Planetary or Prometheus.
Oh, okay. I just skipped to the bottom of that and thought he just wanted me to talk about Planetary and Prometheus, and I've not read either of those, so
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can't talk about that. But so comics that utilize the medium to their potential and make it difficult to transfer to other mediums. Well, that's the reason that Watchmen was talked about as the unfilmable graphic novel, because people felt like it did that. Boy, gotta rack my head for a minute. I like that as a topic, and I almost wish I could table it and think about it and come back with some good suggestions. And if other people are thinking of stuff, feel free to throw your thoughts in as well. So, really difficult to translate. I mean, obviously, there's lots of stuff. I'm thinking. My head's swirling because we just named 25 random comics. You always get... You always have books that are, to some degree, like, easy to adapt in premise, like an Old Man Logan, but hard to do just directly off the page. Like, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is... such a space opera. It's going to be interesting to see, like, just how much off the page they take from that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it can be done. Or there's stuff like, we just reviewed Jeff Johns' Geiger, the original 6-issue miniseries, which came out back in 2021, and that's a long ongoing now, which I'm excited to get into because I actually really, really liked that book. And I was talking to Chris about this the other day, trying to decide if that's a thing I would want to see adapted in animation or live action, because so that's like a nuclear Fallout post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and it has a lot in common with Fallout. And you need to read it.
I started watching that show.
Is it good?
It's great.
I think you would really like Geiger, and my thing is, a lot of that would be pretty easy to translate in live action, except when he goes nuclear and is glowing and all of that, now he'd be a big CG character. And everything else around it would be so realistic, you'd need just damn good CG.
Yeah.
And you kind of wind up at a Ghost Rider place with it. Well, like, you can do Ghost Rider, but you just hope your CG fire looks really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of just the great response to this.
I'll read that.
You'll read what?
Geiger.
Oh, Geiger. Yeah. No, you got it. It's awesome.
All right. I have so many things I have to read. I don't know how I'm gonna get it all read. I don't really have like a time for reading comics.
You gotta make time. You gotta
There's
have
so much stuff.
You gotta have a day every week that you read comics, Jason.
Do I have to listen to music and play video games at the same time so that I'm getting both done?
Oh my god. You're pretty busy.
It's pretty fun. I'm playing through Kirby Triple Deluxe, which you guys should play, and listening to Smashing Pumpkins at the same time.
You know, obviously anything with like dinosaurs, giant creatures, that kind of stuff is just really expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously this is what's fun about comics, is you can do anything you want to.
If you could draw.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm really right now just thinking of stuff that would not be too difficult to do that I'm irritated we haven't done yet, like Klaus.
Yeah,
or that we haven't
Klaus
done
would be awesome.
Or that we haven't done well.
Honestly, we should just make Klaus.
We should. Let's just do that.
Let's just do it. I did you know I read that like every Christmas?
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
The big thing that I want to see adapted, I know I'm not alone with Green Lantern, is Blackest Night. And that would be just such a giant CG fest.
Yeah.
That you'd be a little bit worried about it looking terrible.
Yeah.
Now, if you adapted that straight, just like the book, you wouldn't have any backgrounds. It would just be a million characters on the screen, and you'd have no idea what location they were even in, because that's Blackest Night.
Do you do Blackest Night?
I make fun of that all the time.
Do you do Blackest Night?
Yes.
Like before any other Green Lantern.
Oh, I've got one. I've got one. I was flipping through my comics database because I'm like, I'm not thinking of the great answer, and I cheated, but I got one. Sorry, I'll let you finish your thought.
How much Green Lantern stuff do you need to adapt before you do Blackest Night?
Yeah, that's probably a sequel. You're right. And I mean, that's such an event kind of thing. You don't want to introduce the Lanterns with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's getting its own TV show.
Right.
Then you can do that later. But yeah, you probably want to introduce the Spectrum before you do Blackest Night. Okay, so he's talking about things that are so about they're so like the comics medium.
Yeah.
That getting them on the big screen or on television is just like impractical. You'd almost have to like change the whole premise. Grant Morrison's Multiversity.
Yeah.
Yeah. How the heck would you even do it? And some of it is just the like wild inventiveness, like psychedelic nature of that book. Some of it is the structure of that, because every issue is about a completely different character in the multiverse, and then they start blending, and it ends up becoming one big story, but like it jumps around time, and it's real hard to follow.
Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah. How would you do it? That'd be nuts. But that has a little bit of, I don't want to say a meta component to it, but that book does the same thing Multiversity does, kind of, where they both do weird things with the comic page. Like Absolute Martian Manhunter has pages that make you lift your page to the light to see everything that's on the page, which is really super cool, and doesn't translate in digital. Right. But Multiversity would be fascinating to see an attempt at adaptation. I think it would almost have to be animated, but it would be interesting to see that adapted, because it has some really inventive fourth wall meta breaking stuff where you'd have to make it about the television medium. And you can't do it as a medium, as a movie. It's there's too many moving parts. But you'd have to make it about the medium of television in the same way that the comics are about the medium of comics. Mm-hmm. I've talked about this before, but when the first issue, I think it was the first issue of that came out, I had an experience I've never had before. And it would be really interesting to see this attempted to translate it to screen, where the book implores you not to read past the page you're reading. Like, it knows that there is a person reading the comic, and if you, the reader, turn the page, the world ends.
Wow.
I just knocked my glasses off my face. The world ends. And I actually I was so invested in the comic, I had that split second where I was scared to turn the page.
Wow.
It's so cool. It's like it's never-ending story in a comic book.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I need to get that out for you. It's really cool. I've got it in singles and in trade.
Nice.
And I mean, to be fair, some of it is a little bit of a slog, because there are certain issues that I'm more into the characters and the ideas than others. And it's the most Grant Morrison had to have been doing drugs thing I've read from him. It's definitely up there. Anyway, I was spinning my wheels because it was driving me nuts that I didn't have that great answer. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. I think it's Multiversity.
Yeah.
Multiversity is the real unfilmable graphic novel. Nicholas Bodo, it is. It is. I should go back through that. It's like a decade old at this point. Mm. I got half a mind to go grab the trade real quick, but I'm afraid I won't find it fast enough. Let's go ahead and do our final segment.
Okay.
So we're going to each ask each other a question, and it can be anything. Jason, do you want to go first or second?
Second.
Okay.
I went first last time.
So we published our film 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
About a week and a half ago. Superhero Rewind the movie. And once again, thanks to everybody for watching that. We had a wonderful response. And I'm going to start posting more special features soon. I got the score out last week. I haven't done anything this week yet. I need to post something. We have probably 8 or 10 features we're going to post. We've got lots of conversations that we did during the filming of it. I'm working on a giant blooper video that we've been calling the blooper cut, and I think it's kind of going to come out that way. It's not going to be probably the length of the movie, but it'll be long. It'll be kind of movie length. Feel free to skip around, but we're going to do it chronologically. So the order that you see the silly clips, the mistakes and things will be the order that they happen in the movie, but you won't see every single moment represented, but there will be something from almost every scene.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I think you'll enjoy it.
Will there be a video of Dooms Vince's bloopers?
I almost want to do it that way because there's so much of it.
Yeah, there's so much.
It might be good if the blooper cut didn't have any Vince in it, and then we did like a half an hour Dooms Vince video.
Just Dooms Vince.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. So now that I say everybody, now that a lot of you guys have seen it, and we could end up getting into spoilers here, I don't know. But I wanted to ask you, Jason, about the movie. What to you was the most satisfying part of that experience and the least satisfying part of that experience? It can be... It can be like what you think ultimately came out best and worst, or what as just an experience making the thing. We did this for a year together. We were shooting every week. It was a lot of work. It was a production. What to you was most and least satisfying about the experience of making the thing?
The least satisfying experience was, and this probably isn't like the least but the first thing that comes to mind is trying to figure out audio.
Oh, sure.
Like, we had so many problems throughout the entire thing with
audio. During production and post-production.
And post-production, yeah. And
you can't tell just watching the movie, of course, just how much work we did in getting rid of unwanted audio.
You have me to thank for how good that sounds.
He did a lot of work
in comparison to how it would have sounded.
So not the entire, but a lot of the big bunker sequence, with the climax with Doomsvens, I had just a roaring air conditioner.
Yep.
Or furnace, I should say.
Yeah.
Because I guess maybe both, because we shot those in different months, and some of that was during a period where we would have had the air on, and some of it was during a period where it would have been heat.
Yeah. And then the most satisfying experience, I have a hard time...
That's a great answer.
I have a hard time not just going to, like, one specific thing. Oh, and then the other
we had microphone issues.
And then the other thing is, the other least satisfying thing is, trying to go back to my early
photography. Yeah.
Because I did not know what I was doing at all.
So we had nights where we had, and this is not to throw shade at anybody, it's an amateur project.
I'm totally throwing shade at myself.
It's an amateur project with people that had experience in various areas and no experience in certain areas, right? Yeah. So we had Chris, who was super helpful in lots of ways. He's done a lot of stage stuff, but he hasn't done a lot of film stuff.
Yeah.
So we had nights... This is probably just a mistake in the order that we shot some of this in, because of course we shot it all out of order. Brandon and I both have been behind the camera a lot. Brandon's like my main camera guy when I do stuff like this. I taught him like 10 years ago, and he knows how to hold a camera stable. He's got a real good eye for shot composition. He's my guy when it comes to this. Well, the problem is I cast him as one of the main characters and gave him pages of dialogue, which means he can't shoot those scenes. So the living room stuff was some of the early stuff we shot, and I had Chris, who was not used to being behind a camera, and I had Jason, who was not used to being behind the camera. During sequences where I wanted everything handheld instead of being on a tripod, and we should have just shot that scene tripod, regardless of the thematic thing I was trying to do with instability. That was kind of the mistake I made there.
You're very not stable.
That
You're
is
not very
true.
stable.
So if I've got Jason behind the camera in the earliest days, it bounces like this a bit because he just doesn't know how to hold it stable. And if Chris is behind the camera, we've got to get a lot of like heavy breathing out of the audio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, not to throw shade at anybody.
And then
we were working with what we had.
And then the most satisfying thing.
Yeah.
I have a hard time not just pointing to like a specific scene that was like, because I always say, you know, there's a big fight sequence that is really good. There's a big.
Yeah, I'm so happy with how that turned out.
I always like to.
We worked on that choreography for a long time.
I always like to go to that, and I always like to go to, which is in the same kind of area in the movie. There's a big like car sequence. That was really, really fun to shoot.
Yeah.
And I shot all that, and it was really fun. And it was me and Connor just like hanging out, shooting you in a car,
Driving my car.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there were just things like that were just really fun. Man, I'm trying to. Oh, this is like minor spoilers. Finally,
No, feel free. Like I said, spoilers with this. Most of these guys will have seen it.
Finally breaking the monitor.
Yeah.
Was like...
That was hilarious.
Yes.
So in that opening scene where I've got like a 7-minute monologue, at the end of that, I pick up a monitor and I throw it, and it's supposed to shatter all over the ground, and I had to throw it 4 times.
Yeah, because it kept sliding across the ground. It kept
just sliding across, and so at the point where... And it looks good when it finally comes apart. Mm-hmm. At the point where we finally got it to come apart, we had thrown it a 3rd time where it broke enough that
you had to keep it together.
Pieces of it were coming off, so I had to hold it together as I threw it. Mm-hmm. And the only reason it came apart on camera is because a lot of those pieces were already apart.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure in the blooper thing, there's a whole just like you just throwing it like multiple times.
Nicholas Bodo, was the monitor you threw very old?
No, I don't even think so.
I know that was probably at least a decade old. I had that a long time. Okay. It worked, but it wasn't in great shape, and so it was expendable. What's interesting is because like I guess I could have thrown a broken one, but I didn't have a broken one, so I just threw one I didn't think I was going to use again. And so what's interesting is I don't know if this is interesting, but I'm going to say it anyway. You actually see it through that whole initial sequence, and my dialogue in that scene is actually on that monitor. So while I'm giving that monologue, I've got my cheat sheet here. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually I've got it somewhat memorized, but I'm able to glance at it. So I've got all my dialogue here in case I need it. Mm-hmm. And then we broke that right after that. So we actually used it and then broke it. Yeah. And if you look close, you can actually see it in a sequence later, because again we shot out of order. Yeah. So when Jason playing me is walking around the bunker in the Spaniard device sequence, it's fun. We can actually talk about this now. It's in that scene, and we did that on purpose because we wanted the basement to be what it would have been around that period before I lost my mind and shut the channel down. Yeah. So that monitor is actually in that sequence before we've tossed it. Yeah. We tried to have that kind of attention to detail the best we could. Mm-hmm. We made mistakes, certainly, but I was excited that I remembered to do that. Anyway.
All right.
Your question for me.
My question is not as sentimental at all.
I don't know if that was sentimental. I was just thinking, timely, stuff that has been going on recently.
So my question was going to be, if you were a superhero movie, what superhero movie would you be?
But I like that a lot.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, what movie would I want to be to get watched a lot, or the kinds of people that I would want to be around that would play me in a player,
or
Howard the Duck.
Okay.
No, that's not the answer.
So
that's not the question?
no. The question.
Well, I mean, I'd love
came
to
up
be a
with is-
beloved superhero movie.
Right, but
So
like,
I'd be
or is
like-
it a superhero movie that you relate to, or is it? I don't even know.
Well, I mean, I always overthink these things. So it's like, which one would you want to be? I mean, the superhero movie that I would, because, you know, like, what would you be most adored by? Like, everybody likes you? Because I like to be liked. So Superman
Dark Knight.
78.
Oh yeah.
That's the least polarizing, well-liked superhero movie to this day.
Yeah.
Find me one person that doesn't like that movie.
Yeah. So the one that I did come up
All
with,
you'll get is I don't like it as well as this other thing.
right. The question I did come up with is longer. So if you guys have,
You got 5 minutes.
if you have ever walked into, or if you have ever seen the bunker, you know that there are different corners of the bunker.
And if you haven't, we have a 3-minute tour of it in the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
We just walk around it.
And there are tours on the channel and stuff.
Oh, yes, yes.
So there are different corners that are like different things themed
yeah.
around different things that you like. There's a like a Star Trek corner. There's a Tick corner. There's a Batman corner. There's an arcade, and there's the Geekvolution corner. So
yeah, my office.
you have to pick
It's kind of nook.
a Star Trek character, a Tick character, a Batman character, a video game character, and a Geekvolution co-host to create a 5-man Power Rangers team.
Oh my god! It's another Power Rangers team question. Crap. Okay, my Star Trek character is... Ooh, and I've also got to think about, like, Sorry, we've only got a few minutes. I'm going to try not to take too long on this. I've also got to be strategic about gender with this.
Yeah.
Right? Because I want to try to be as traditional as I can, which means I need 3 men and 2 ladies. So I'm going to start at Star Trek. Oh, do I have to color them? I got to color them.
Yeah.
My Yellow Ranger, probably Yellow Ranger, but then I don't know who my pink is yet. So I might change them as I go. But at first glance, I'm thinking my Yellow Ranger is 7 of 9.
Okay.
Am I doing this right? Is
Yeah.
this what you were asking for? Okay.
Yeah.
My... Let me think. Well, because now there's a part of me that wants to make my Yellow Ranger a dude, actually.
Really?
Yes. Because my wheels are spinning here.
You have a lot of choices with females with Batman.
I know, and that's what I was just now thinking. Okay, let me start over. So my Pink Ranger is 7 of 9.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I don't know how much sense that makes. She's not especially effeminate.
Yeah, I don't think she's a Yellow Ranger either.
Yeah, like, you'd almost want to make her a red or a blue or something. I could see her as a Blue Ranger.
Because Tess is the Pink Ranger.
Yeah, well, not even that. But 7 of 9 had a blue catsuit.
Yes.
That wasn't the main one she wore. That was the one she wore the least often. It might be my favorite, though. But anyway, I want her on that team, though.
Okay.
So, let me say...
She's pretty good as a Yellow Ranger, I feel like.
Yeah, but I want a male Yellow Ranger because I don't want... Because I'm trying to do three dudes and 2 girls.
Okay.
And I want to make my Black Ranger Cassandra Cain.
Okay.
Because I love that idea.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Okay, so my Black Ranger is Cassandra Cain, and...
I feel like she could be a Yellow Ranger, too, even. I don't know.
Yeah, but see, I want to see Ranger suits based on the costumes.
Right.
And so I'm imagining a black Batgirl Power Ranger suit with the sewn face.
Yeah.
Is what I'm imagining right now. Okay, and then where else do I have to go? I gotta go to the arcade.
Yeah, video game character.
So any video game character. Okay, in that case, I'm going to make my Red Ranger Akira from Virtua Fighter.
Yeah.
I feel good about that. What else do I need? You said I need
You need a Blue Ranger and a Yellow Ranger. And you need a Tick character and a Geekvolution co-host.
Okay, well, my Blue Ranger could just be the Tick, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, that's maybe the obvious thing to do.
Uh-huh.
Unless I made him like the Human Bullet or something, or
The Human Bullet would be a good Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll have the human bullet as our Yellow Ranger, because I need a male Yellow Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Our Blue Ranger will be Dan Torrey.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's pretty good.
Okay, so your Red Ranger is Akira Yuki.
Did I get everything?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Your Blue Ranger is Dan Torrey.
Yep.
Your Black Ranger is Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
Your Yellow Ranger is the Human Bullet. And your Pink Ranger is 7 of 9.
Yeah, that's the one where I was kind of going back and forth and thinking maybe that should be.
Yeah.
I can't think of a real girly girl kind of Star Trek character
That isn't terrible. Like, do you really want Troy as your Power Ranger?
No, even then I don't see her as a pink.
She wears pink.
She wears
She wears blue, but like
like a gross fish-looking color.
Yeah.
You know, like she wears like a salmon kind of. Anyway. I don't know how I feel about 7 or 9 as a Pink Ranger, but I do like her as a Power Ranger.
I feel like no, she wouldn't be a Red Ranger. She's like a 6th Ranger. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Maybe
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if she was our 6th Ranger?
And she could just be Green Ranger.
But if that were the case,
she would be Silver.
No, she'd be the Silver Ranger.
Yeah.
But if that were the case, you'd need another category.
Right.
You need a whole other category.
Yeah.
We already did Batman.
Right.
Like, there's not really anything else in here that's like a
big.
whole area.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a fun idea.
Because there's a Power Rangers area, but like.
Tyler, Cat, my whole family apart from me don't like Superman the movie. Well, there's always one. Whole family, I guess. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. We're at 2 hours. We're going to get going. But if you want to hang out with us some more later, please do, because we're lonely, pathetic, and sad, and we need friends. So come hang out with us on Geekvolution After Dark. No idea what we're going to talk about yet. We're gonna bring different random fun topics. We'll talk for at least an hour, and we'll do that here in about 45 minutes. We'll put out an email, so you've got to be a patron to see it and get the link. It is a special place that only patrons can go, like a speakeasy. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan, and
Jason.
This was my son Jason, and we really appreciate you guys. Bye for now.
I wanna take you for a ride.